Hello, my name's Zhilan, and the title of our presentation is A Survey of Patterns for Adapting Smartphone App UIs to Smartwatches. Smartwatches are rapidly growing in popularity these days. Wearable apps in market are mainly companion apps. There are corresponding apps on the watch for the same apps on the phone. Wearables generally have a smaller form factor than a phone. Supporting an app to the watch necessarily involves reworking the UI, like the fitness app example we are showing here. An open problem is identifying best practices for adapting phone UIs to wearable devices. Existing studies always focus on UIs on the phone. We also notice that no major design guidelines, for example, material design from Google, offers specific adaptation guidelines when designers need to port an app from the smartphone to the smartwatch. Besides, we also need a method to describe the UI adaptation strategies in practice. In our work, we propose the UI layout taxonomy for both the phone and the watch. We leverage existing works on phone UI patterns and build a new categorization for watch UI patterns. We also build a dataset for real-world applications with both the phone and watch component. We analyze UI adaptation trends based on both statistics and actual design workflow. In addition, we do our analysis based on a minimal part that comprises a UI component, as well as the overall visual style, which we conclude as UI patterns. Here we show the 8 patterns we present in our paper. The first 6 are existing patterns from the book Mobile Design Pattern Gallery, and they are all navigation patterns. We add 2 new content-based patterns to build a comprehensive categorization for UI adaptation description. We identify 4 general categories of watch UI patterns in our dataset, based on Android wheel hierarchy. We also define another special category of skeuomorphic layouts that can only be identified visually. Our analysis is based on the problem, how to map a specific phone screen to the watch. Given that, we conclude trends in our dataset. First, most top-level navigation patterns are mapped to lists or multiple cards. Among these cases, the decision to use cards instead of a list appears to be motivated by prioritizing a particular function on the opening screen. As choosing the subset content is critical to building a companion app, when mapping patterns contains previews to the watch, designers need to balance between the amount of the information and the overall clarity of the UIs. Based on the observations of current practice in our dataset, we also present some guidelines to assist the developers in adapting a phone UI to a watch. First, each pattern has a natural default counterpart on the watch in practice. It is likely that one can automatically produce at least the first draft using this rule. Second, the watch has a much smaller screen, so subsetting is often necessary. This process is driven by the importance of the content more than the amount of the data on the screen. Finally, any existing phone UI could be identified as a navigation pattern or a content-based pattern. Using a list for the navigation pattern and a set of cards for content-based patterns could be the easiest approach to build a companion app. Thank you.